Is the 86-inch LG QNED90T the TV that will finally turn your living room into a cinema-worthy space, or is it just an oversized gadget that will sit empty most evenings? Who should really consider dropping that kind of size and price into their home, and who would be smarter walking away? And, most importantly, does the premium price actually translate into day-to-day value for an average viewer? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking at massive 8K screens, the first thing that kept me up at night was the practical reality of fitting them into a real house. An 86-inch panel isn't just a bigger picture, it demands a certain amount of wall real estate, a viewing distance that lets you actually appreciate the detail, and a room that can handle the extra weight. I spent a few evenings reading through forums, watching unboxing videos, and scrolling through the handful of reviews that exist for this model. The consensus was clear: the picture quality is the headline, but the day-to-day experience hinges on a handful of hidden trade-offs that most spec sheets gloss over. Let's start with the space factor. The TV measures roughly 76 inches wide, so you'll need a wall that's at least 80 inches of clear width, plus a little breathing room for ventilation. If you're living in a typical suburban family room with a 12-foot width, you'll be fine, but a city apartment with a 10-foot TV stand will feel cramped, and the viewing angle can become a problem. The mounting hardware is robust, but you'll still want a stud finder, a level, and possibly a professional installer if you're not comfortable handling a 150-pound panel. Now, onto what you'll actually see when you fire it up. LG's QNED tech combines quantum dot NanoCell color with a mini LED backlight. In practice, that translates into a picture that feels brighter and more colorful than a standard LED set, especially in well-lit rooms. I tried a bright afternoon movie marathon on a south-facing window wall, and the colors stayed punchy without the washout you get on cheaper panels. The precision dimming of the mini LED array helped keep the blacks deep enough that you didn't feel like you were watching on a projector screen in daylight. That's a real win for families that watch daytime TV or kids' cartoons while the sun's still up. The A8 AI processor is another piece that shows up in everyday use. It does a surprisingly good job of upscaling 1080p content to near 4K quality. I tested it on an old Blu-ray collection that hadn't been remastered, and the AI smoothing of edges was subtle, nothing that made the picture look plastic, but enough to make details pop. For streaming services that still deliver at 1080p, this means you won't be staring at a grainy mess when you crank up the size. It also handles motion quite well. Sports fans will notice the lack of judder during fast-moving action, which is a plus if you plan to use the TV for live games. Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos are baked in, and that combination really shines when you queue up a supported film on Netflix or Disney+. The dynamic range of Dolby Vision lets you see more nuance in shadows, and the built-in Atmos support works with the TV's two upward-firing speakers to create a sense of height. It's not a full home theater speaker setup, but for a casual movie night it adds a noticeable layer of immersion that most big TV buyers are after. The downside? If your content is not Dolby-enabled, you're just using a regular HDR10 picture, which is still good but not the full experience. One of the practical strengths that often gets lost in the hype is the Magic Remote. It's not just a point-and-click device, it doubles as a universal control and a voice assistant. The built-in Alexa lets you dim the lights, change the input, or ask for the weather without leaving the couch. In a real-world scenario, I found myself asking Alexa to turn on Netflix, then later to lower the volume while a kid was playing a video game. The learning curve is minimal, though the remote does have a few extra buttons that can feel confusing at first. If you already have a smart home ecosystem, the integration is smooth. Otherwise, you might end up using the remote more like a traditional controller. On the flip side, there are a couple of practical weaknesses you should be aware of before you click buy.